Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unapologetically
Significant.
There you go. I'm your host, Rich Humphreys, and I'm going to be riding solo tonight, but we have a special guest here. So I'm going to introduce her in just a second. You've seen her before, but before we get rolling with all of that, I just want to thank you for those that have watched our podcasts and commented on them. We really do appreciate that, and keep it up. It helps inspire us to produce more content that obviously you're liking. So again, thank you. We do appreciate each and every one of you. So without further ado, the special guest sitting over here to my left, you've seen her before. This is Kimberly.
Hello.
The amazing emotional health coach that is just out of this world in terms of her skill sets and being able to help people with all sorts of issues, baggage. You know, we all have baggage. Some of us have a whole set of baggage. Some just have a carry-on, but doesn't matter. Things are the way they are, and we can get better and grow and learn from them. So, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. You did say this is a holistic podcast, right? Is it holistic?
Of course, it's
Okay,
holistic.
all right. So when it's holistic, when you're going the holistic approach, there's no judgment. So someone's judging you, that's not holistic.
And if anyone's judging you, period, they shouldn't be.
That's right. That's for sure.
So tonight we're going to get into a topic that a lot of people suffer for in silence. And the topic for tonight is going to be shame. And Kimberly is going to expound on that a little bit. But we're going to have an engaging conversation and hopefully give you some tidbits in terms of how you can overcome, improve, move past, all that good stuff, some of the burdens and the chains of shame. So, Kimberly, people who are suffering from shame, and I can think of a lot of reasons. One could be they tried something, it didn't work. They could have attempted to start a project, start a business, what have you, didn't work. They're kind of shameful that it didn't work. They could have been suggested an approach to doing something in terms of wellness or health. They didn't do it, or they didn't follow that person's advice. So what they did was they went out on their own, tried it, nothing wrong with that, but it didn't work. Now they feel guilty, they feel the shame. So talk to us a little bit about, just what goes on with a person when they're feeling shame.
Yes, thank you for bringing up and broaching this topic because it is widespread, and I don't think anyone's impervious to feeling shame. Shame comes from, like you said, a lot of sources. Basically, we feel like we have let ourselves down, we've betrayed ourselves. Other people may judge us, but we feel shame because we've already judged ourselves. And as we kind of alluded to before, no one has the right to judge you, including you. No one has the right to judge you, not even you. And so the shame, again, it comes from us judging ourselves. We've tried ourselves, we found ourselves guilty, and guilty is charged, is what we say. But the truth is, we didn't do anything wrong. But this is the conditioning that we have had for centuries, right? You did something wrong. Really, we're here to learn, and everything that happens is about that.
So let me ask you this. So someone who, is maybe suffering from a bout of shame, what would you suggest? What are some things they can do what are, number one, how do they recognize it? Number one, because in order to effectively treat something or resolve it, you need to know what it is. So,
Right.
how does someone even know they're in that spiral of shame?
Feeling like they have secrets, or you can't tell, nobody can know. And so the fear that people will find out is one clue. But in the realm of self-love, one of the areas in applying self-love to our, giving love to ourselves, is forgiving ourselves. And when we get into that mode of self-forgiveness, this comes up. And a lot of times people think that I can't let her off the hook, or him. I can't let myself off the hook. And the bottom line is, forgiveness is always for the forgiver. And in the case where we have to forgive ourselves, again, we have to forgive ourselves, because we're both the victim and the unforgiver. Okay, the person who's not being forgiving. So shame is no different from forgiveness of any other event.
So what does a person do? What are some tidbits that they can do to remedy the situation?
The beginning is thinking differently. As long as we believe that that person was wrong and should never have done that, we're not going to be forgiving. And so we first have to understand that everybody is doing the best they can with what they have, and all things considered.
Now that goes for the person themselves too.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So
And
you have to have that compassion we have to have the compassion for ourselves, to say, that was the best I could do at the time. I did my best at that time, giving all things. And you know what? Everything that we do, every mistake that we make, everything that we do that we wish we hadn't done, it was all for us to learn. Because when we come through that, now we have a greater discernment. We have an experience that we can learn from. And that's why it happened.
So what about the people who say, I can't forgive myself? Some people are stuck there.
That's true.
So
That's true.
what are some of the things they can do?
So I would encourage you to reach out to someone who can help you to do that. But I'm going to give you 4 things that you can do before we close out here. I'm going to give you 4 things that you can actually practice. And one of them is compassionate journaling. So just starting to write. Start where what you're feeling right now. This is how I feel. And just let those feelings just flow right from through the pen onto the paper. And when you're finished, treat yourself like you would a friend who shared this with you. You would have compassion for them. You would want to comfort them. You would want to help them forgive themselves. Right?
Okay. What comes to mind is, a few people that I know have been down that road. They are so far down that road. It's like almost an unheard of thing for them to do. They just can't do that. They just physically cannot do that. It's so ingrained in what they believe to be true, that they can't get past stop.
Yeah.
So what do those people do?
I would encourage them to reach out to someone. And for me, as I've been there, I had to forgive myself for, I could have taken the holistic route. In fact, I call myself doing that. And I felt like it wasn't working. So then I went the drug route. The medical doctors, everybody said you needed to take the drugs. Okay, so I took the drugs for 10 years. And I lost my eyesight. I ended up having to wear glasses because my eyes went south. and I had a lot of other side effects from taking the medications that I had to deal with. Other issues came up. And so when I did say, okay, enough is enough, I felt guilty about all those years that I had continued to take the medications, knowing that they were causing side effects and that there was another way. But again, I had to come to realization that this was, and this is why I know what I know. I learned it personally through my own personal experience. And so the beginning of that was that everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to for the good of everyone involved. Well, when I first heard that, I thought the person was crazy. I said, there's no way. That's not true. That's not my story. That's not my experience. That was my reaction. But I was being coached, and I listened to the person. I went through the coaching, and I came to appreciate, actually I was able to reconcile my belief in a scripture that says God works all things to the good of those who love him and are called according to their purpose. So I believe that. But I still didn't believe that everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to for the good of everyone involved, even though they're exactly the same thing. It's saying the same thing.
Well, I look at things like that as seeds, because a lot of people are not going to be able to reconcile that, accept it. It's like feeding the baby a steak, and they're just not able to do that. But I look at it as planting seeds, being open enough to let those seeds be planted, and then over time it will germinate and it'll grow into something that you can wrap your arms around and believe in.
That is true. That is true. And when you say wrap your arms around and believe in, I just want to say that in holistic healing, because I was thinking that that's what was going to be our focus, there is never any judgment. Never any judgment, and it's always there. So if you tried other things, or you tried other things and they didn't work, the holistic route is always available and will never judge you for however long it takes you to figure out if that's the way you want to go.
So what do we do after journaling?
So after journaling, you can, so there is a technique I like to call, well, I don't like to call it, yeah, I do. I call it transforming our pain into self-love. And this is no different. In fact, I highly recommend it. It's also known as tapping or emotional freedom technique. And you could do this. Follow me here. Even though I'm feeling shame, and you don't have to be specific about the shame, whatever it is that you're ashamed of. Even though I'm feeling shame, I still deeply and completely love and accept myself unconditionally. Even though I'm feeling this shame, I completely, unconditionally love and accept myself. After you do this 3 times, then you can start here, 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 and here. There are, I have a video on YouTube, and there's tons of videos on YouTube and elsewhere on how to tap. But basically, you're tapping, and as you're tapping through these points, you're talking about everything that comes up when you think about the shame. You want to address every aspect that you could possibly think of. And as you're tapping, and if you're hitting these points, your truths at the time, that's what it is. It's at your truth at the time. This is like taking out the garbage. It's so you don't want to try to sugarcoat it or make it sweet. You want to be real and raw, and just if it's so heavy to you that you can't even express the words, and you could just, the tears are just rolling down, you're just crying, that's okay. As long as you're feeling the shame, feeling the pain, and tapping through it, because the feeling the pain of the shame is, letting those feelings out. When you tap, you're telling yourself, even though I have this feeling, I'm okay. You don't even have to say that. the fact that you're expressing it and you're tapping while you're expressing it is releasing it. And actually, when you start out, if you want, you can take a measure of how intense it is on a scale of 1 to 10. And when you're finished, you can take another measurement. And if it's still around a 5, 7, 8, something else is going to come up, or there's some aspect that you're not addressing. So that's a big one to do, and I specialize in helping people with that particular modality. I'm certified in that, and so there's lots of depth to it. But what I just shared with you, that can help a tremendous amount. And then another thing that you will want to do is just really have that compassion for yourself, treating yourself like you would if this were your friend and they were feeling this way. How would you talk to them? And that's what you want to do for yourself.
What about breathing? I hear that's important.
Extremely important. I'm sorry, I skipped right over that. So yeah, the first thing that you want to do, even before you start tapping, is take a slow, deep inhalation. Hold on to it for as long as you can, and slowly release it through the nostrils. And then just focus on your breathing. Breathing normally, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Close your eyes. You want to sit in a place where you can be undisturbed for as long as you feel you need to do this. Anywhere from 5 to 10, 15 minutes. It doesn't take very long. But you need to not be interrupted, and you need to be in a place where it's quiet, so that you can just go inward. So you're closing your eyes, so you're kind of shutting out the outside world, because this is between you and you, nobody else, so you don't need to see anybody else. And when you close your eyes, your focus goes inward. And I didn't mention this before, but I'm going to throw it in here. When you are focusing on your breath and your eyes are closed and you're going inward, this is a good time to just ask yourself, what did this shame come to teach me? Because that's usually why it happens. It's there to teach you something. In fact, it could even be one of the reasons that you were born into this day and time and had this experience that caused the shame. There could have been other deeper experiences. Anyway, the point is, there could be a lesson in here for you. And so while your eyes are closed and your focus is on your breathing, inhaling and exhaling, you can ask yourself, what did this shame come to teach me? Now, we're subtle bodies, very subtle. So that response is going to be subtle. It'll either come in the form of a small, familiar voice, soft and loving. It will be soft and loving. If it's harsh and critical, that's not it. Okay? It could be in a feeling that you have, that a knowing, like an inner knowing. Or it could be a vision. You may see your answer. And so those are the ways that your answer can come. It's always loving, always. If it's not loving, it's not the answer.
I think it's important to point out also that if you don't hear anything or nothing comes to you, that's okay. That's okay. Because I can envision some people doing that, and then they get frustrated. Well, I didn't get anything. Because so many people are under the impression that signs and things that we call in, things we try to manifest, so many people think they need to be a burning bush experience. It's got to be something that lights the sky up, because then I know for sure. Well, no, it really doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And it can, as Kimberly said, it can be very subtle, but you have to get in touch with yourself. And so you'll be able to see and feel those things. And for some people, that can take a while. Just know that it will happen, and just continue doing that. And again, a quiet place, Get away from the noise, the TV, the kids, the this, the that, and spend some time with yourself. Too many of us don't spend time with ourselves. Our minds process, they say, about 85,000 thoughts a day. When do you give your mind a break?
Yeah. And something else I wanted to mention is that when you're quiet and you're going inside and you ask the question, what did this shame come to teach me? If you get something that doesn't seem to make any sense to you, that's okay. You just, whatever it is that comes up, just keep inquiring. Say, so that doesn't, can you tell me more? Tell me more. And allow yourself to tell you more. That's a building the trust in yourself and uh, what's coming up. So yeah, sometimes it comes up in fragments that don't make sense. That's okay. Nothing wrong with you. Nothing. You're not broken. You're just growing in clarity, discernment, in trusting yourself and in loving
Just
yourself.
think of it as a puzzle. You're putting the puzzle together. You have an idea of what the final picture looks like. A lot of times you don't know quite how to get to that, especially in the time frame that you may want to get to it. But things are under control, and they will get there when they're supposed to. What you need to do is keep working towards it.
Yes.
And so, what else can they do? Anything else that they can do?
They can. And so just know that, keep telling yourself this: I am perfect for my purpose for being here now. Whatever happened, it's for my good. It's for my highest good. I am perfect for my purpose for being here now. Guess what? You cannot do this wrong. You cannot do life wrong, because life knows you and accepts you unconditionally.
And that's a heavy message, because I know a lot of people from the time they were children had been told otherwise.
That's right.
So there's
That's
a
right.
lot of deprogramming that needs to take place.
Yes,
So
that's it.
again, don't think that you just do this once or twice and you're in the clear. It normally doesn't happen like that. So
Yeah. Just know that, keep telling yourself, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm going to get through this. And guess what? You are. And I'm going to say it again. You are perfect for your purpose for being here now.
okay. So how do people, if they do need some help, you mentioned reaching out and getting some help. How do people get in touch with you?
You can go to balancingmylife.com. You can go to heartjoytoday.com, or you can go to ayurversity.org. AYURVERSITY.org. So any of those sites, you'll find me. You can find me. And there was one other thing that I wanted to share that that slipped my mind. See, I could be ashamed about that, but I know better. I know better. So forgiveness. There is a forgiveness mantra that I want to share with you. And it says, I did what I thought was best. And I released shame and I welcome grace. You deserve that. You did what you thought was best. And you release shame and you receive grace. Give yourself that grace.
All right. Well, hopefully all of you took away something. I know I took away a couple of tidbits. Um, and again, reach out. The strength is truly in reaching out for help. A lot of people think that's a weakness. It really isn't. That's the strength to be able to reach out and
It
have
really
someone
is.
assist you to get better. Again, the three sites that Kimberly mentioned, you can find us. Like us, subscribe to our channels, do all that good kind of stuff. We appreciate it. We're going to continue to put out more content, a lot more content. because I think it's useful. I know it's useful because
Yeah.
I'm looking at the comments that we're getting, and people are really getting something out of it. So if there's a topic that we haven't touched on yet that perhaps you want us to expound on, just let us know. Just let us know. There's a lot of feedback buttons on all the sites, so feel free to give us some feedback as to what you might like to see in the future.
Just want to give one a little encouraging note that there's a lot of hurting people out there, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. And people who are hurting, guess what? They hurt others. But the good news is, people who are healed, they help others heal. They help others heal. So the more healing you have, the more healing is in the world, making it a better place.
And with that note, we'll say thank you again. You all are unapologetically significant, and we appreciate all of you. Stay safe, and all love to you.